Hi, my name is Hudson Hodges and I'll be hosting the Pampered Chef Show. I'll be making Cheesecake Swirl Brownies. I'll be using some of the Pampered Chef products that we have bought over the past few years from this catalog book. And you can also go to the link
with the video
to look on an online catalog
and
order things like these. I'm going to be showing you some of the Pampered Chef products we're going to be using today. Most importantly, the recipe book that my recipe is in. There are many different recipe books you can buy in the online catalog. This one is the Simply Sweet recipe book. First of all, batter bowl. My mom has had this for 18 years. It's been stayed in very good condition this whole time. The lid, it never really distorts like all those other lids you buy for these other bowls. And
the great thing about these bowls are that you can mix in them, you can store things in your refrigerator, you can also microwave with these bowls. Also, you'll notice the very handy handle that is on the side. And I can tell you, there's probably a lot of you out there that have found yourself in the position of struggling to hold a bowl while you're trying to scrape out brownie mix or other ingredients. And with this, you can simply use your handle. You'll notice also that it actually has measuring marks on it as well to measure your ingredients inside of the bowl.
Next, I'll be talking to you about the mix and scrape.
Don't move it around so much.
It can easily scrape all of the ingredients off the side of your bowl and get it back into the batter. And it's heat resistant up to 650 degrees. Good all-purpose tool to use.
Okay.
Next, the adjustable measuring spoon. You probably had to deal with digging through different measuring spoons in your drawer. But with this, it's just an easy slide to get to different measurements from 1 teaspoon to a tablespoon.
Okay.
This is the cooling rack right here. It can hold cookies, brownies, cupcakes, pies, cakes, and it can stack. You can stack many of them on top of each other to set even more brownies. Okay, finally, the bar pan. It makes your crust very golden brown. It cooks evenly and it holds it very sturdy.
And it keeps moisture
off the food.
Okay. This here is part of the Pampered Chef stoneware collection. Pampered Chef has lots of stoneware items. I can tell you that I have some stoneware from Pampered Chef that I've had for almost 20 years. The great thing about these is that it does cook your food evenly. Just a couple of weeks ago, I pulled out the first pan I reached for, and it happened to be one of my metal pans to do some brownies, and sure enough, I burned the bottom and wasted the whole batch. Had I been using my Pampered Chef bar pan or rectangular baker, that wouldn't have happened. So these are the products that we're going to be using today, but there's lots of other products that Pampered Chef has that would make today easier, and we will talk about that as we go through the recipes.
First, I'll preheat my oven to 325 degrees. And as you can see, I have wrapped parchment paper on my bar pan. The reason I have extra parchment paper hanging over the side, so I can easily lift up the brownies and put it on my stackable cooling rack. First, I will butter my parchment paper with butter. But what will make this a whole lot easier is if I use the corn butter.
Correct. And keep in mind, you can use cooking spray for this. However, I prefer the taste of butter. I think it's a better flavor. One of the things that Pampered Chef has, like Hudson said, is the corn butterer. It takes your stick of butter and holds it so you can butter corn and bread easily, but you can also use it in cases like this where you're buttering pans for cooking. And we're just going to take the butter and we're going to easily go over this parchment paper to make sure that our brownies don't stick to the parchment paper. So like I said, that is another Pampered Chef product that would make our day a lot easier today, but unfortunately I do not have one of those. Hopefully I'll be getting one soon. So we're going to go ahead and finish buttering this and give it a light buttering.
Also, it prevents you from getting your hands messy. Like you can see, my mom's hands are kind of messy from holding the stick of butter. Now, I'll be starting with my classic batter bowl, putting in a whole bag of Nestle chocolate chips. I have to carefully put in 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and 4 squares of unsweetened chocolate chopped. And I will put it in the microwave for 1 to 3 minutes until smooth. After heating in the microwave, it should look smooth like this. First, I will add my flour into the mixing bowl. Next, I will add baking soda, also using my Pampered Chef adjustable tablespoon measure.
Okay.
I will carefully whisk it together.
Just to mix the ingredients.
Just to mix the ingredients.
Now that Hudson has mixed together our dry ingredients, our flour and baking soda, you can see that in here, we are going to go ahead and mix together our sugar and our eggs that are already in this bowl here. It's 4 eggs, so it's a very rich recipe, and our sugar. We're going to whisk those together, and then we're going to add our vanilla to the wet ingredients. Now, one of the great things that Pampered Chef has is they sell something called double strength vanilla. Now, I don't have any of that right now, so I'm just going to use regular vanilla. But this is going to be, as you can see, a rich recipe, a whole tablespoon of vanilla. So it's going to have a very good flavor coming through on this. We're going to mix that in with our sugar and our eggs, like this.
Next, I'll pour in my wet ingredients into my chocolate, very carefully.
And we're going to use our mix and scrape to get all of the ingredients out. And that's the great thing about it, is that you can get everything out with your mix and scrape. Everything out of the bowl that you need, so you're not wasting anything. Okay?
And I will stir with my Pampered Chef mix and scrape.
Alright, now that Hudson has mixed in our chocolate with our wet ingredients, we're now going to take that and mix it into our dry ingredients. So we're going to pour all of that in here. And as you can see, my mix and scraper really gets everything out of the bowl. Your kids might not be happy with that because they don't get to lick the bowl because there's nothing left, but it does make sure that you get everything out so that you are, following your recipe. Alright, so now that I have that out, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stir that really well. And we're just going to keep stirring until it's nice and smooth.
Now, my mom's going to pour in the prepared chocolate batter into the bar pan, and I'm going to help her hold the parchment paper.
And we just want to get this all out of here. Again, this is where your mix and scraper comes in really handy, getting everything out of the bowl. And you can see this is the only spoon I've had to pretty much use this whole time. was this one, because it just does everything for me as far as getting, stirring heavy ingredients, because it's very sturdy, heavy batters. All right, so we've got all that out now, and we are going to go ahead and we want to spread this very evenly onto our paper. Okay? And okay. Now, one of the great things that Pampered Chef also has is they have spreader tools that you can use to ice cupcakes or cakes, or in this case, spread out evenly your batter into a pan. I don't have one of those, so I'm just going to use my mix and scraper, which is doing the job pretty well. We're just going to get that nice and ready. And the next thing we're going to move on to is our cream cheese mixture that's going to go on the top.
Now I'm going to make my cream cheese mixture to swirl into the batter.
Okay.
Now I will put in my cream cheese into my Pampered Chef Classic batter bowl, and I'm going to put it in the microwave until soft. Now that my cream cheese is smooth, I'm going to add my sugar and my egg yolk.
Okay. I'm going to use my
Pampered Chef adjustable tablespoon measure. And
I need another one of those. 2 of them.
And add my egg yolk.
Okay. Now I'm going to whisk together.
And now I'm going to whisk together until it is smooth.
Keep going.
Now that my cream cheese is smooth, I'm going to add 6 scoops cream cheese on top of my chocolate batter.
Okay. One of the great things is Pampered Chef has some great cookie scoops that you can use. It's nice. If you're preparing cookies for your kids' class or something like that, it makes sure that all your cookies are the same size, and it also makes sure that you're cooking your cookies evenly because they're all the same size. Alright, now that Hudson has finished putting his scoops of cream cheese over the batter, we're going to use a flat tool of some kind to spread your cream cheese into your batter and make the swirl pattern. Remember, don't overdo it or you end up with a completely white brownie. You simply want to swirl it. This is where I would use the Pampered Chef spreader tool. They have lots of those. They're great for icing cakes and cupcakes and things like this. Unfortunately, I do not have one, so I'm going to use just a flat butter knife. So I'm going to come in here with my tool, and I'm basically going to go back and forth with the flat edge and create a swirl pattern. First, I will go in one direction, and then I will take it back the other way. Okay, now that that is done, we are going to put the brownies in the oven at 325 degrees for approximately 35 minutes. But you want to cook them until a toothpick inserted comes out moist and fudgy. You don't want it to be too dry. You want your brownies to be moist.
Now that my brownies are done,
And look how great they look.
Look how great they look. I'm going to cut on the edges so I can easily take the brownies out without breaking it. Putting them onto the cooling rack.
Okay. Now we're going to lift these up, Hudson and I. He's going to get one end back over this way, and we're going to just gently lift up, not too much, right onto the cooling rack. And you can see how easy that was to do. All right, now that our brownie is cooled, we're using another Pampered Chef tool that we didn't tell you about at the beginning. This is one of my favorites. It's the mini spatula, and I'm sure a lot of you have had trouble trying to get brownies out of pans or even pie and things like that to get it to come out nice and even because your spatulas are too big. This is not only a spatula, it's also a cutting tool. So I can actually cut my brownies with this tool. I come in here and do this. And Hudson is going to lift the brownies onto the plate to show you how fantastic these look.
And how great it tastes.
Okay. They smell fantastic. We've already taken a little test bite. They taste great.
Thanks for joining my Pampered Chef show today. You can follow the link on my videos and go onto my online catalog and order some great Pampered Chef products to make things like these delicious chocolate chip swirl brownies. Thanks for your support.